welcome to Little Birdie's sports show First Look for a Monday. I am your host, Nikki Sylvester. Joining me today is MG, who's going to review AFL Round 2. We also have Toprope, who's going to review NRL Round 3. First Look is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, our friends at topsport.com.au, Punting Form and Manscaped, the best in men's grooming, and we do mean grooming. In the studio with me is MG today. How are you?
I'm good, Nikki. Yourself? It's been a busy weekend, a busy week, but we've made it here on a Monday morning. We're ready to go. So, it's good. Interesting week of AFL.
It was. So, Buddy got his 1,000 goals. So, where does that put him? So
6.
Okay. And who's number 1? Plugger?
Yes.
Interesting. And was he at the Swans when he did it too?
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
Other pocket, I believe. The same end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I think so. Don't quote me on it, but I think he was on the other side of the ground to Buddy, same end.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Something for the Sydneyites, because they really get around their sport up there, don't they?
It's pretty big, actually. Like, I was thinking about that, and I thought if that was the case, that's pretty good for a club that's non-Victorian.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
In a name.
Yeah, we'll talk to Toprope. I'm sure he would have been out there for a big occasion,
Did you run out on the field, Toprope?
Run out on the field. I didn't even know what was happening. Was too busy watching Latrell dominate your Roosters. So,
oh my God, that was horrendous.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
I find the AFL a little so-so, but I understand what people like, and I find the Swans completely insufferable. And anyone who goes to a Sydney Swans game is absolutely ground-bred to me. Zero interest.
That's why we don't have Toprope in the AFL section. It's it's funny because he doesn't support Sydney Swans up there, but his favourite team is Melbourne Storm for the last decade down here. So it's an interesting 1-2 punch from the great man Toprope up there.
We all know the reasons for the Melbourne Storm. Cha-ching.
Oh,
all right. Let's get into the review of AFL Round 2. Plenty of drama on and off the field. Let's check out some results and go through them. Okay, so the Western Bulldogs lost 90-102 for Carlton, so their season is not off to a good start at all. Sydney, as we said, they won 107-77. Geelong, care of the big man Buddy up there. Collingwood won 100-58 over Adelaide. So just had a quick look at the ladder and, wow, they'd be impressed where they're sitting. Essendon unfortunately lost 75-97. Brisbane, Port, they lost 56-120. Hawthorn, Gold Coast, they lost 69-82 for Melbourne. Kangaroos, they won 74-59 over West Coast. Richmond won 109-73 over the GWS, which I think is pretty good without Dusty.
Yes.
And Fremantle lost 55-65 against St Kilda. MG.
Yeah, okay, Nikki. We've got, I guess a quick review, so we won't go through every game, but, we obviously started the week well with some good quality contests. I think Carlton are definitely up and about. All of a sudden, the Bulldogs under massive pressure, 0-2 going into a tough game this week as well. So a big game coming up for the Bulldogs. As we just touched on in the intro with you, Franklin obviously kicked his 1,000th goal. Took all the spotlight from the game, but Sydney were very impressive against the Geelong, who obviously belted Essendon the week before. I know that form may not hold so much weight now, but Sydney off to a flying start, as you said. Collingwood now, I think they're second on the ladder to Hawthorn, who are also 2-0. Essendon, they tried hard, but disappointing in the end to lose. So they're under pressure as well, 0-2 going into their round 3 clash against Melbourne. So good luck there, Nick. I think you'll be 0-3 when we're talking this stage next week.
I think you might be right.
But there were some good quality games, and the other end there was the Sunday schedule was pretty ordinary. I know Richmond obviously upset, they were undermanned and upset the Giants, who were incredibly disappointing from a Giants point of view. The money and the markets changed massively for the Giants and didn't get the job done again at the MCGs, a bit of their hoodoo ground.
Yeah.
But geez, we had some ordinary standard games. The Kangaroos and West Coast, obviously. West Coast having 14 changes. They were very spirited actually, and even though Kangaroos got the win, it just shows how far off the pace the Kangaroos are in terms of the bigger picture. Unfortunately, end of the week, Fremantle, St Kilda is just I don't know.
Very hard to watch.
Very hard to watch. Yeah, you really needed the fast forward button on that game. I think. I know St Kilda got the win. Fremantle controlled the game early, and then St Kilda got over. So all up, there's obviously some good teams travelling well. 2-0 got off some good starts, but geez, there's some teams under pressure at the bottom, 0-2 going into this week with some big matches ahead. So, yes.
And I think that's going to be the thing, the big matches that are coming up, and then all of a sudden we're looking at a very different season for some of these teams and what they probably thought they were going to be.
Yeah, well, the
into.
stats for 0-3 and especially 1-3 after 4 rounds, if you're looking a bit into the future, is not good for making the finals. So a few of these teams like Essendon and the Bulldogs are under pressure, and the Giants as well at 0-2, and a few people had these in their 8. So yeah, it's a big fortnight ahead for some of these clubs.
Thanks for that, MJ. We might just go straight to the bookie wrap now. Just want to run through that.
Yeah, so we just see week 2 is a bit the same. I think there was 6 favourites, one in round 1, the same as round 2. Very similar covers as well, 4 this week to 5 last week, and the totals are running pretty true. So you see the seasons there, the 12 out of 18, 50% covers, and slightly to the overs at this stage, and the home teams are just in front. So only 2 weeks in, but it's just probably pretty even between punters and bookies after the first 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. Let's check out MG's round 2 AFL Sting results here. So Western Bulldogs, obviously very disappointing there. So that was 2 units lost. Collingwood, Adelaide, again, this is probably one that for the overs that you wouldn't have picked there. So lost. Essendon, Brisbane, we won. You won. Care to look, the 3-quarter Essendon Bombers that they are. And Richmond, GWS, you won that too with the overs there. So what are we sitting on here? We're going...
so we had just a small profit for the week, bit like week 1. So for the season now, we're pretty much 1.4 units up on 17.5 bet, PO2 of plus 8%. So, 2 totals, 1 miss. The Adelaide Collingwood was a sick beat for anyone who followed and was watching the 162. They needed 24 points only in the last quarter and managed to kick 2-7 between them. So a bit of a close loss there. But anyway, we move on. Toprope knows you can't win them all. You just got to pad up again for week 3. But, just a toughish start, but we've got our nose in front after 2 weeks.
There we go. We've still got our nose in front, so that's the main thing. Okay, so if we have a look at the Premiership prices now, I think we're going to see some bit of a difference here.
Yes.
Anything catches your eye?
Yeah, so Melbourne are obviously pretty solid. They've done the job, 2-0. Brisbane likewise, and Sydney, so not too much has probably changed through that. I still think... the Bulldogs are being kept pretty safe by the bookies, I would have thought, with a tough match up against Sydney this week. And I'm a big fan, as we'll talk about that match coming up. So I'd be staying away from the Bulldogs. I think Carlton are far too short. I understand why the bookies are short on that, but they were too short. Don't know where Geelong are at. Port, I just think that it drops off really quickly there. Outside the top 3, I couldn't be betting anyone at this stage.
Okay. All right. So let's go to Thursday night's games. We've got the Western Bulldogs and the Swannies, 7.20 at Marvel Stadium. Betting prices at the moment approximate. So we've got Western Bulldogs head-to-head $1.90. It's going to be pretty much $1.90. Take your pick here, we think. We don't really have an approximate line. We're not sure this might be
no
too
line
close
at this
to call.
stage. Some bookies do have the Bulldogs 1.5 point favourite. They've got shading them. But, the general consensus is pick at this stage. Obviously, we're recording this show on a Monday morning, so the Thursday games we just have to quickly skim over, and we'll give an approximate price of what we have. No total yet. So it's basically the 0-2 Bulldogs on Thursday night against the 2-0 Swans. So as we said, the Bulldogs are under a bit of pressure. Sydney are obviously going well. Bulldogs have come off losses to Melbourne and Carlton. So the form line's reasonable. I just think the Sydney form line's a bit stronger. They beat GWS by 20 points. I know they got beaten by Richmond. The Geelong win was solid by 30 points. So I think, especially the distraction of Franklin kicking his 1000th goal, I think it was a good win. So I just think there's 2 teams going in different directions at the moment. And at the price, I just think Sydney's offense is going to have too much offense. They've kicked 17 goals both weeks. So the number 1 offense in the comp, kicking very accurate as well. They've averaged 17 goals to 7 behinds at the moment. So if that holds true, I just think the Bulldogs' defense is going to be under too much pressure for the Sydney offense. And I think early markets, I think Sydney are a good bet this week.
Yeah, cool. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to get on the Sydney train. Anything to cover for the AFLW for the finals?
I just wanted to touch on the markets will come out later in the week. We'll actually probably discuss it on Friday's show. But anyone following the AFLW, they obviously, the prelims coming up at Adelaide Freo and Melbourne Brisbane. So they should be both good betting. Both played on Saturday, and the Melbourne Brisbane game's actually at the MCG before the men's match this week. So that'll be a highlight for both teams there for the women to actually play on the MCG leading to a men's game. So
girls.
yeah, so we'll preview those. We'll touch on those on Friday.
Beautiful. Thanks, MG. Punters, you can locate AFL Stings in the Little Birdie Live TV shop for $22 a week. Get on that. We're going to have a quick break and then we're going to come back with Toprope for all the NRL Round 3 review action. Welcome back to First Look, brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Now we are going to bring in Toprope for the NRL Round 3 because it was a really good week in the NRL. Toprope.
Yeah, it was a ripper of a week in the NRL, to be honest. Not so much from a punting point of view, but certainly from an action point of view. Weather was kind of the name of the game, but opened up the Sharks, absolutely destroyed the Dragons there, 36-12. No Andrew McCulloch really hurt them, but the Sharks are really warming into Premiership contention now. We saw Malcolm Maguire's job become even more tenuous with absolutely horrific loss to the Warriors, 16-12 at home, in what was the worst game of the year, potentially the worst game of the decade, potentially the worst game of all time. It was utterly. The Bunnies, they lifted against their old rivals, the Roosters, 28-16. It was a very impressive performance. Latrell certainly showed up there. We saw the Panthers beat the Knights in Bathurst, marked by the first send-off of the year. Mitch Barnett, cheap shot elbow to the head. He'll cop 6 to 8 weeks at least, you would have thought. One of the biggest crazy finishes of all time. On a personal note, had Ryan Pappenhausen last try, so it took something truly special to beat that, but we managed to find it. A field goal shot in Golden Point from Parramatta. Had it gone over, I win. Had it missed, I probably win. Hits the post, goes sideways, plodding forward. Ray Stone scores his second try of the year. Astonishing victory. That will be forever known as the Ray Stone game. The Raiders came from 22-0 down against the Titans to beat the Gold Coast in what was a super impressive win. The Broncos jumped 7.5-point favourites yesterday. Utterly horrific, flogged at home by the Cowboys. Back to the Broncos we know and love. And Manly, in torrential rain, beat Canterbury 13-12. A late Daly Chervin's field goal got them over the line in what was a rain-sodden defensive battle.
Yeah, it was a very good week in the NRL. And look, I just want to go to my boys, the Roosters. That was an insane first half. And then they just came back and they were just complete. They had nothing in the second half. So I think we're seeing it where you're saying in the AFL, we're seeing a little bit where the bottom teams aren't, there's not much, there's a bit of a difference in the NRL. I think what we're seeing now is from week to week, there's no consistency in some of these teams. So it's very hard with what we're coming up against to look at what we're going in the future. But yeah, Latrell was amazing. So I'll just, I like Latrell, not when he's playing the Roosters.
You must be the only Roosters fan in the world who likes Latrell.
All right. So if we just go and have a look now, we can just see some of the week 3 results here. So what have we got? 5 out of the 8 Waves have covered. 4 out of 8 covers over total 6 of 8. Home teams 4 of 8. And I think that's where you see there the home teams. Like, normally in the NRL that gives you such an advantage, but this is not necessarily the case this season. And then Toprope, if you want to go through the season results.
Yeah, real switch around, notably in the totals there. It's now only 7 of 24. It went 6-2 last week after going down to went 15-1 the first 2 weeks. Every total in the 30s this week. So I know there's some weather around, but I think the dramatic overreaction came last week. So that was the big one there. So that's certainly the most notable one. We saw a bit of a bounce back from favourites last week, but it's the over was probably certainly the note to take out of last week.
Okay, so if we just Toprope's round 3 results here, we've got a total of 16 units bet with a quarter loss, 2 out of 6 correct. That's not too bad with the week that was. Toprope, I'm going to throw to you, buddy.
We only got 2 out of 6, but the big wet one, the 5.5 unit bet South +4, they went off the stick and got out in the end with the 2.5 units on the Manly total under. Probably a little stiff in the 2 Penrith Knights bets there, lost 5 units in that game, but the send-off really saw that one go bad. The +12.5, the Panthers led by 8 with a minute and a half to play and scored 2 tries in the last minute and a half. So one of the great bad beats of all time there. What we deserve, what we get for betting on the Tigers, and the Storm never look like this. So Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were kind of around the mark there, so nothing too untoward, kind of standing out other than betting the Tigers. But Bunnies held up with the big angle to start the year. Home underdogs of +4 or more.
Okay, now I can't imagine what you've got to say about this game on Thursday night. Round 4, the Gold Coast versus the West Tigers at Seabus Super Stadium, 8:05 p.m. Approximate betting prices at the moment: Titans $1.30, West Tigers $3.60, and approximate line 9.5. I'm sure you've got some good ones for this game.
I'll tell you what, we've had some good Thursday games to start the year. This is not one of them. What an absolute howler to start the week. You've got to think the Titans, if they play at their best like they did in the first half, will absolutely run rampant against the Tigers. But they were pretty poor. They snuck home against the Warriors. Tigers really have their backs against the wall now. I'm going the Titans. I'm going the minus, but with absolutely zero confidence.
Now, we might just have a quick look at the NRL Premiership market as well. Toprope, do you see any value here? Anything that takes your eye?
Yeah, very happy with the Roosters at $8. I think they have a pretty ordinary record against South, but it's still a very, very good team. And they're not always at their best in March, so the $8 is absolutely delicious.
Okay, I'm going to get on that with TopSport, I'm telling you now. Okay, punters, if you are serious about your NRL punting, head to the Little Birdie TV shop, hit GGOA. You can get those sets for $22 a week. Again, if you are serious about the NRL, get GGOA. MG, let's go to for our bets.
Yeah, that time of the week, Nikki, where we get our Monday tips in. So, you had a good result with, we'll leave Toprope alone there with St. George. He's got his first loss for the year. He's on 2-1. Nikki got very, very nice bet there. You got the price as well, the Hawks plus 28.5. Not only did they cover, they won outright and won by 10 or 11 goals. So that was unbelievable. And I tipped the Lions minus 12.5, so I get on the board as well. So we've got a 2-1 Toprope, 2-1 Nikki, and I'm on the board at 1 and 2. So this week, Toprope, I'll go to you first for your charity Wayside Chapel. Who are you tipping for the punters on a Monday?
Yeah, I'm getting the Cowboys plus 6.5. I've got one to fit the angle here. Home underdogs of 4 or more have a tremendous record, covered about 67% at the start of the year. So I've got a couple of those plays this week, but the best of them, the Cowboys plus 6.5 against the Roosters.
Plus 6.5 there for the Cowboys for Toprope. Nikki, you're going for 2 in a row here. Which sport are you sticking with, NRL or AFL this week?
I'm not confident on the NRL at the moment. So I'm with the AFL, so I'm going to go Brisbane Lions minus 33.5 because I think they'll get the job done over North Melbourne.
Okay, all right, going with the strength there. Myself for Love Me, Love You is my charity. I am going for the Swans on Thursday night. So at the $1.90 against the Bulldogs, I think the market will trend their way, and I'm going to back the Swans to go 3-0. Okay, that's it for this week's predictions.
Okay, thanks, MG and Toprope. Thank you so much for joining us for First Look for this session on a Monday. Follow us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, get our podcast downloaded wherever you get your podcast from. Remember, follow us at Little Birdie TV on Insta and our socials on Twitter as well. Remember, all your footy betting is at topsport.com.au. We'll be in next Monday. Don't forget to join OB and the boys on Friday. That's all right. We'll see you next week.